Something is happening here on Earth, and I'm not sure what it is, but it seems like it's a great awakening. Information that was previously hidden from everyone is now becoming clear and available widely on the internet and at the click of a button. If you listen to what I'm going to tell you in this video, your life will change forever. But most people are not going to be able to believe what I'm about to tell you. This blows apart everyone's worldview. We've all been lied to our whole lives about this topic. And changing this one idea, well, it's a big one, will change your entire life forever. I will give you 3 pieces of evidence that will convince you to follow the way of service. Now, I have always been a scientist. It's been one of my biggest callings. Lao Tzu says, "A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is." Freeing ourselves from concepts and keeping our mind open to what is. Can you do that today? In my last video, I gave you my origin story. That story happened 15 years ago, and many things have happened since then. In this very past year, I was inspired to make a number of changes to my life that have led me to this point of creating this channel and starting the way of service. One of those big changes was losing weight, and I've lost about 40 pounds. But there was a number of other changes that have led me to what I'm about to tell you today. One of the first things that happened to me after I decided to make changes was I found the woman named Laura Lynn Jackson. I don't remember what led me to it. I think it was probably a YouTube suggested video. But I found one of her interviews. And Laura Lynn Jackson is a psychic medium, which means that she helps people contact their deceased loved ones. Are you still with me? I know. I didn't believe it either. But it turns out that Laura Lynn has been dedicated to finding scientists and seeking out experiments to help her understand her abilities and to verify them. She has even been certified by 2 very serious scientific institutions. There is a peer-reviewed paper that has been published detailing this study. In this study, it's called a 5-fold blind experiment, where Laura Lynn, the experimenter, the person being read, and the deceased loved one are all unknown by all of the parties involved. And so then, under those circumstances, is Laura Lynn able to retrieve information that is true and accurate? Now, in this scientific study, there are 5 main categories that the mediums are expected to be able to relay to the researchers. The age at the passing of the person, the physical description of the person, their personality, their hobbies, and the cause of their death. One example that's stuck in my memory is when Laura Lynn Jackson did a reading for a woman where she contacted her deceased father, and her deceased father told her, "The kitten is okay." See, she had accidentally killed a kitten when she was very small, and she had never told anyone about it. But Laura Lynn was able to relay this information that the kitten was with her deceased father in the afterlife. She and about 17 others have been certified by the Forever Family Foundation. This organization is dedicated to helping grieving families talk to and contact their deceased children. Now, this nonprofit organization takes their job very seriously, and so they put their mediums through a very rigorous scientific test. I want to share with you the big lesson that Laura Lynn has gotten from all of her many years of doing medium work, and it sounds very familiar to the way of service.
To give you just a few of the broad things they have taught me is that we are all here on earth having a collective lesson in love. And so any opportunity we have to give our love and kindness to someone else or receive somebody else's love, that's the whole point of life, in a nutshell.
If you want to share your collective love with me, click the like and subscribe button. Now, my exposure to this meeting of science and the afterlife was the first time that I was exposed to this idea that we could apply science and observation to the idea that there might be an afterlife or what life after death might look like. But I, like I'm sure you do, needed more to prove or to even consider the idea that we might be able to prove an afterlife. I continued my investigation of the scientific study of the afterlife. And contrary to what I thought I would find, I found more evidence that it's real. Beyond the psychic medium studies, there are also past life regression studies. Dr. Carol Bowman, is she a doctor? I was introduced to this topic by the book of Carol Bowman. She started researching the idea of past lives because her son had a fear of fireworks that was unexplainable and was only solved through a past life regression in which they found that he had been a Civil War soldier. She was actually able to check historical documents and find the likely identity of her son's past life.
A few years ago, Chase drew and wrote a description of the day he says he died in the Civil War battle that is so vivid in his mind. Because this is what you wrote. You say,
Yeah.
I can only vaguely remember the Civil War regression, but it was so long ago. But what I do remember stands out clearly. Right now, I see myself crouching on my knees behind a rock. I have some kind of rifle with almost a kind of sword built onto it. I am in some sort of valley or something.
Carol's work led me to the work of Ian Stevenson, who has studied over 3,000 examples of reincarnation, using historical documents and artifacts to identify the past lives that in his research.
There are at least 6 sources of evidence for life after death.
There are even examples in Eastern cultures where reincarnation is widely accepted, where an individual will find their previous family and they will recall memories from their previous life, and so they will have a relationship with their previous life's family. You could imagine someone being invited to holiday dinner because they are the reincarnation of Grandpa Joe. Authors, experimenters, documentarians, and researchers have all investigated this phenomenon, and those who have investigated have found that it is real. Are you still with me? I hope so. I want to take you deeper into this rabbit hole to find the treasure that we can take into our own lives to change them forever. But I know this is a little crazy, hearing from some random small-time YouTuber with 48 subscribers. Are you still with me? Tell me in the comments what you think. Can you come up with any other explanation for this evidence? I want to know. I want to hear it. The final and most important piece came to me when I discovered near-death experiences, or NDEs. There are thousands of these interviews that you can find them right on YouTube. You might think these people are making it up, but there is always some piece of evidence that they come back with to show that it was a real experience. For example, they can describe what the doctors were doing or what their loved ones were doing elsewhere while their heart was stopped.
All I knew is that I'd crashed the car, we'd lost half the family, and here I was moving freely about the hospital. And as I moved about, I encountered the nurses and the doctors and the other patients and the families of the patients, everything in a hustling, bustling level 1 trauma emergency setting. It's difficult to know the words to use. As I encountered them, I knew them perfectly. Even if they were strangers perhaps in this realm, but everyone I saw, I knew them perfectly. I knew their love, I knew their hate, I knew their motivations, I knew their challenges, I knew their thoughts, I knew their decisions and choices. I knew them as well as I knew myself.
In almost every case, you can investigate these near-death experiences, and you will see that it profoundly changed the person's life. They write a book, they change their career, they change their entire attitude about life. And we can do the same if we study these near-death experiences. I know I've gone on for a while, giving you the evidence and trying to lay it out for you. And that's because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But the bottom line is this: The afterlife exists. It's been proven scientifically, as has reincarnation, the existence of the immortal soul, the existence of spirit guides, and even of God. So what, you might say? Most spiritual traditions profess the existence of a soul and of God. But I believe that if we investigate these near-death experiences, we can see that there are very clear lessons that we can bring into our life. Every single near-death experience has something called the life review. In this experience, the person is led to a place or to an experience where their spirit guides show them their life. So they relive their entire life in a very short period, because time has a different meaning there. And in this experience, they see all of the important moments of their life. But they don't just see these moments from their own perspective. They see these moments from the perspective of everyone that was affected, even people that they might not know were involved, because all of our actions have a ripple effect. Now, in this life review, the person experiences all the positive effects that they had through thousands of other people, and also the negative effects they've had from some of the poor choices that they made. But what's important to understand is that these spirit guides, and sometimes they meet Jesus or God or higher ranked spiritual beings. These beings always give them unconditional love and no judgment whatsoever. The judgment that they experience comes from themselves because they see that they want to do better. And so the idea of karma is not something that hangs over us or attaches to us, although there may be some aspect of that. But I believe that what happens is individuals decide that they need to do better, especially if they had caused a lot of suffering. And so then they choose to go back or to experience another life to do better and show that they are not like that. And as I've learned from other sources, the past and the future and the present all exist together. And so when they can improve this aspect of themselves, they actually heal their ancestors and their past lives. Another reality learned from these near-death experiences is that all of us are actually one. All beings are from the same source and are eternally connected. And so any wrong that we do to another must ultimately be righted, because time is eternal and we are eternally connected. Now, every single life review is the same. It focuses on the emotions and effects that our actions have on other people and spirits, because it doesn't make any sense to spend our time here on Earth accumulating Earth dirt points or Earth dust points, for from dust they came and unto dust will they return. It makes no sense to seek money or fame or hedonistic pleasure at the expense of our relationships. What really matters is relationships and being of service to each other, doing our very best for the other people that we encounter in our lives. Everyone that's near you and everyone that's close to you, even strangers, are there for the most profound reasons. This is the way of service, and this is why I created it. It's so that we can look back on our lives with joy and happiness and without regret, and to avoid making mistakes that might make us decide to come back and live another 80 or 100 years or 1,000 years in order to fix those mistakes that we made. It is far better and far easier to fix those mistakes now, while we still have access to those relationships and we don't have to start from the beginning all over again. Our purpose here is to share our unique self and our unique gifts with the people and spirits around us to benefit and enrich their lives. Through doing this, we gain the company of the highest spiritual beings. This is all I want to do with my work here, and I want to help you if you go to my website at wayofservice.com. This quote from Lao Tzu's Wahoo Ching encapsulates these ideas perfectly. It is entirely possible for you to achieve immortality and to experience absolute joy and freedom forever. The practice of undiscriminating virtue is the means to this end. Practicing kindness and selflessness, you naturally align your life with the integral way. Aligning your life with the integral way, you begin to eliminate the illusory boundaries between people and societies, between darkness and light, between life and death. Eliminating these illusions, you gain the company of the highest spiritual beings. In their company, you are protected from negative influences, and your life energy cannot be dissolved. Thus do you achieve immortality. I hope I've given you something to think about. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life, and now you can embark on the great adventure that is your life. Even if you're not entirely convinced, I really hope you will continue to investigate these ideas and leave a comment to tell me what you have found. Since I'm a small channel, your like and your subscription means the world to me. And again, please comment. Your comments are the most precious treasure you can give to this small-time YouTuber. So I hope this was helpful. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.